This is DLFM Online Radio Station Chicago. Dimensión Latina FM Radio TV. Baja nuestra aplicación a través de tu iPhone o Android. Búscanos como Dímela FM. Búscanos en TuneIn Radio como Dimensión Latina FM y visita nuestra página web dimelafm.com.
ELSA PRADO, and I am the host of Wings of Love. Today we are broadcasting live from Dimensión Latina FM, and we have a great guest for you today on this episode. So please get ready because we have quite the program. I hope all the kids from Horizon are tuning in, and that they're going to be here to see one of their favorite teachers. We have Victor Montañez as our guest today, and before I go before we start the conversation, I want you to know that he is multi-talented. Not only does he work with the school on the murals, but he's also a musician, an activist, philanthropist, writer, educator, and all kinds of different avenues that you've taken on with the different roles that I know that you have done over the course of your career. Tell us a little bit about you. For those that don't know who Victor Montañez is, tell us a little bit about what your trajectory has been, what you've been doing throughout all these years.
Well, it's a lot of years, Elsa.
I know.
Currently, I'm still like everyone else. Our lives span with people that are artists, musicians, chefs, entrepreneurs, people that live life to the fullest. So I like to get together with them. Right now, after this program, and I invite all of you to go. We're releasing a new beer. Not exactly the topic to start with kids, but,
right.
But the labeled is one of the beers that I've been designing, and the collaboration has been part of a 14-year run with Otoniel Michel, who is the chef of Estrella Negra restaurant. And so we're launching that beer along with our other partner, which is Casa Humilde, one of the rising breweries of Chicago, who have quickly taken a major role in the craft brew industry. And they're also opening up, besides in Chicago, a brewery in Wheeling, Illinois, where you were just not too long ago with it. So so although it's a small world, it's an expanding circle of people. And then I'm also doing the Leadership Academies, which this year has been very exciting because we did a Leadership Academy with the staff of the Boys and Girls Club of Chicago. And they, in turn, help thousands of kids in 22 neighborhoods that most need are the recreation of arts and the integration of culture. For right now, there's a lot of talk about diversity, inclusion, and equity, and pretty soon you're going to have one of the major players, Regina Armour, in that show. It'll be coming here. So with her, we've been working.
Stay tuned.
So with her, we've been working since before the turn of the century, in the late 90s. We launched our very first academy with her, and now we're doing it in the Horizon schools. We already finished one in McKinley Park, which I'm very sorry you missed. But one of these days we're going to get you there to look at that mural. And their sister school is where you visited and gave a great speech to the parents of Horizon and the students of Horizon and the teachers of Horizon. So it was a huge community that you were there. So thank you for that. And we are working on quite literally the largest mural to date, which will span about 100 feet. It's an indoor mural, 100 feet, 7 feet tall, and includes participation of kids from kindergarten to 12th grade, and parents, teachers, community, principals. And hopefully you're going to be painting with us too.
Yeah, I love to paint. I started art school, and then of course I was told that I was going to starve if I became an artist. So I got that nipped really quick in my life. I couldn't go far because of it, but
well, this is art.
Yeah, this is art, and I think this is something that is magnificent. And I'm wondering if the people that are watching us are thinking, how does he do a mural with kids? Tell us a little bit what that entails, because I am sure I have people right now with question marks in their head thinking, how is it that he can get these kids to actually behave and paint and actually collaborate with each other?
Right. Well, quite honestly, we don't begin with painting in mind. We begin with playing some games, getting to know one another, working as a team. And then we start talking about who they are, who they want to be, who their parents are, their fears and their dreams. And then we start working on paint. But it's very little to do with paint, although the murals look fantastic and people say, wow, you know, the professional artists do this. That's all in the kids. And the way to untap the creativity of kids is not through technique, but through their heart and their minds. And that's how kids can jump in and accept themselves and accept the power that they all hold inside. So it's really very little about art and a lot about their parents, their grandparents, their hopes and their dreams.
Mm-hmm. It's just amazing though when people can actually see the completed mural and it spans walls of space, and you're like, wow, how did they actually bring it all together and then to create this beautiful masterpiece? Because it is quite, it's quite a sight to see, and it's impressive.
Yeah, so, well, we don't know where it's going to end up, but we trust the process. We trust each other, and we go with the flow. We go with the flow. As long as we trust each other and we understand that this is a process and that there's nothing but greatness in us, then we live up to that.
And I think that it really builds the self-esteem of these kids. It just brings out probably the best in them, because they're really getting all those creative juices flowing and everything's coming out, and there's probably parts of them that did not get explored until they had this experience.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and then another factor that plays a very important factor that plays into this is that kids talk a lot about their parents.
They do.
They talk a lot about their parents, and they understand the struggle that their parents had and the legacy that their parents bring, mm-hmm. and they want to live up to that. They want to live up to that, and they want to surpass it. One of the things that we try to teach also parents is that not to go for this cualquier trabajito,
right.
Lower the standards, but to really also help us in establishing that we're not here to get an education to be someone's employee. Mm-hmm. We want to get an education to change the world and to lead the world.
Right.
And once kids can accept that and believe in that and know that there's adults around them that also believe that, well, there's just no telling what they can accomplish. And what they do in art is just a small percentage of what they can actually accomplish in life.
And I think that's the mastery behind all this project that you're doing is that obviously I can see it, but I know the kids, it'll take them a while to process how that process is actually gonna allow them to give back with their leadership skills that they're learning now, because these are the things that where you're planting these seeds with them right now at this young age. It's just only gonna be like the beginning.
Yes, the art is just a tool, and we're not out to make a mural. We're out, the real art is themselves.
Right.
And to be able to master the art of living, to live without fear, to live with purpose, to live with courage, and to appreciate the people that are around them. That's what makes great leadership. Not politics, not techniques, not any of this, but to be able to understand that it's a real gift to be able to learn from one another and to share skills with one another. Not to compete, not to be the top of the class, but to be one as a whole, a collective. And that's what makes them powerful. And if we start at a young age, there's just no telling where they're going to end up.
True, true. But I really, really enjoy watching them just come together and be like a team. They're team players and they're participating, and that's one of the things that is absolutely wonderful, because a lot of times you see this mechanism where there's like one person that wants to be like the lion in the jungle, just be like the king, or just me by myself, and that's not what you do. You bring them all together to work collectively.
Yeah, well, society tends to push us to individuality, to make the objective or the goal money, power, prestige, but at home, and the people that love them, well, the goal is being a good person, having a good family, and if it is making money with a purpose, to help others, to help yourself, to help your community. So it's a dichotomy, and they're navigating two worlds, two forces, and that's what I'm trying to. That's why we need to master the art of living, because we can't just fall in one end, or just fall for these false promises. I mean, I don't care how much money we make. We always want more money. You know, money is never an end. And look at all these billionaires. They have billions and billions, and they're never going to spend that money. And they want more. And they want more. That's not what they want. That's not a goal to have. But to have kids, to have a good family, to be a good dad, to be a good brother, to be a good sister, to be a good son. I mean, almost every religion says, as a commandment, honor your parents, honor your elders, and that you can't honor them enough. That's not like money, you know. You just can't honor them enough, and it's such a satisfaction to know that you were a good son, that you were a good brother. Right.
And not only that they have this upbringing where they actually want to give back.
Right, and what they want to give back is some of what they've lost. You know, they want to be good Latinos, good African Americans, good leaders, and it's something that society has taken from us. You know, trying to put us into this melting pot where we lose our identity, we lose our voice, we lose our language, rather than adding to it. I mean, it's important. Like this show, you know, it can be in Spanish, it can be in English.
Exactly. Diversity.
It's the diversity and the inclusiveness of others. Not just simply saying, no, pues nada más español, or no, English only. It's the same thing. It's just different extremes.
Exactly. And not only that, one of the things that's the beauty of all this is that we can have all these kids of different nationalities.
Yes.
And all work together. And I love the things that the kids said when they were here at the program, where they pretty much pointed out where sometimes they're asked to give up. These are my roots, because now you're going to take on this new country and forget about who you were or what your roots are based on. But now you become this, and biculturalism is another part that is applying to all these kids.
Yes, and I think the school that you visited, Horizon Science Academy Southwest, it's right on Western Avenue. And I think the most important thing, or one of the most important things that we're doing in this Leadership Academy, is that they're getting an opportunity that even though Latinos and Blacks are so close together, they're divided by one street. It's a big division. It might as well be the Grand Canyon between them. And what we're doing with art and culture is bringing them together to understand that um, they're other me. That they are each other.
Exactly.
And you can see that clearly in that they're holding hands, they're playing together, they're leading each other, they're working side by side.
Right.
And these divisions that happen in the lunchroom or that happen in the streets or that happen everywhere else, those are being eroded. Like as if a tidal wave has come and broken down that great wall that separates blacks and Latinos. And now they're working together. And that is something that is just amazing to watch, just amazing to see, because quite honestly, that's tough to do. You know, it's very tough to break down these cultural barriers. And you see it flare up every so often where blacks and Latinos, unfortunately, don't see themselves as their other self. Right. Instead, they see themselves just as the other.
That's true.
But art has a magical way of being a tool to bring all of that together.
Right, and you just said the key word. I think you're using a very valuable tool, because not only are you using it to bring them together, but they also get the creative process going.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're able to tap into what sometimes education does without really knowing, staying within lines, staying within cues, to the point where a child in the 5th grade will say, I can't do art, when it's one of the natural universal intelligences that we have. Of course we can do art, of course we can dance, of course we can sing. But so again, you know, society and education tends to tell us, no, there's only one way to do this, and it's not your cultural way. Exactly. It's an imposed colonialist, supremacist way of telling us. And if we follow that line, well, of course I can't do that, because it's not a natural universal intelligence. But if you put 2 babies or 3 babies or 5 babies, no matter the color, no matter how young they are, and you play a good beat, they all drop their bottom. They all start,
they all start moving.
Dancing.
They all start,
because that rhythm their mothers gave them while they were in the womb. So it was the very first intelligence that they had.
Yes.
And then we got many more intelligences, and not just as Latinos, not just as blacks, but as human beings. And this phenomenon, this unfortunate phenomenon, also happens to Caucasian kids, where they believe that they can't jump, where they believe that they can't dance, you know, because society does the same thing. So it's a double-edged sword that sometimes they don't even realize that
it is
that they're succumbing to this oppressive and false truths.
And what a shame, right?
It's what a shame. What a shame. But how great it is when you break it down to them. They can dance cumbia, reggaeton, and salsa, and they feel good about themselves.
Exactly.
And also adults who were told you can't do this. So a lot of the teachers are painting with the kids, and that's the power of this academy. That we have 16 teachers, dancing, painting, reciting poetry, and you saw many of that yesterday.
I did. I saw a lot of that yesterday.
You know, so they're doing from West African dance to drumming, drawing, and of course, reading. A lot of reading.
Yes, literacy is so important. It's one of the things that I took on many years ago, doing the book festivals and the book fairs and stuff like that, was just really promoting the literacy and making sure that kids read. I mean, every child should be reading every night, and they should have their parents read to them too, so that there's that bonding with the parent too, you know, while they're reading.
So with Horizon Science Academy in the Southwest, it's the very first time that we've had the full tools, and it's through a federal grant run through ISB and in partnership with CPS. So there's a lot of partners that come in, converge with this academy, this current academy, and thousands of dollars are being spent on good books, and we're gonna buy some of your books too. You know, it's like,
and it's important that we have the books, not just the digital stuff. I mean, there's nothing like flipping the page.
Exactly.
Like having the book in your lap and being able to, get chapter through chapter and putting it down and then getting back to it and stuff like that. Because unfortunately, I think a lot of our lives are getting lost in technology. So you're bringing them back.
Yes.
To let's mix the paint. Let's draw. Let's
turn the page. And let's mark the page and let's highlight it.
And let's highlight.
There's that power of touch, because we were talking about the very first intelligence being listening and music. The second intelligence is touching, tactile.
Yes.
Little kids want to touch, and after they touch, they want to taste it. So it's like we have to give them all of those senses, trigger all of the things all over again in an educational process. So we have a lot of food. We had empanadas from Brazil yesterday. For some of them, it was the very first time they had.
They were trying it, right?
Yeah, they were.
But they were gone before my eyes.
Yes,
I saw the boxes full and they were gone.
Well, that's the thing about kids. They see food, they eat food.
No, it was really good, and just to watch them dancing and really coming together like they were expected to do. It's like I didn't see no kids hiding in a corner not wanting to do anything. I saw them all really ready to go and participate and excited and
the other component is that they can see themselves. So we have two magnificent documentary makers, Ryan Stuckley and Jessica Medrano, who have been collaborating with me for quite a bit now. And
let's give them a shout out.
Yeah, let's give a shout out. And they are presenting at every summit when we get together. They're presenting documentaries so the kids can see themselves, and they're presenting music videos and the kids see themselves. And you were there to see their reaction. They're just to see themselves on a big screen, and they just get so excited. That's me. So we're giving them, we're empowering them through their own image.
Exactly. And it just really, that's why I was bringing that up. It's not only is it empowering for them, it just lifts them up in many ways.
Yes.
And that's one of the core values that I think you're bringing to this whole project, is that the kids really start feeling they're acknowledged.
They are.
And so many children are taught at a very young age that you're just a child, like you're meaningless, and that's not true. And I think you take it to the other level with giving the child that opportunity to be that person, to actually feel like a person.
Yeah, so it's very it's a big priority with us to amplify the student voice and to amplify the teacher's voice and to amplify the community's voice in general. So that's written right into the proposal that we gave to TWSBI for the Freedom School. So the whole project is called the Freedom School with Horizon Science Academy Southwest, and it's the biggest grant of its kind right now for their particular school. So their school goes from K through 12.
Right.
And to tell you, it's like we offer this grant to several schools, and
were they hesitant?
Well, they turned us down. They just felt this too ambitious. It was too big. But we found Dr. Palmerin, who's leading this school in the Engage Park in Western and 54th. He had no hesitation. He says, "This is what we need. This is what we want. If nobody else comes in, count on me. We still will go forward. Whether there's 6 schools or whether there's 1 school, we will go forward. But you can count us in." So a big shout out to Dr. Palmerin, who is an educational leader with ambition and with vision, and just a really hard worker. And you met him. He rolls up his sleeves. He's there. He's always looking to improve and empower his kids. And he said in this last video that was released, if they can hear our kids speak for themselves, that's really what Horizon Science Academy Southwest really is, our kids.
And I need to point something else out. I heard a number of times yesterday that one of the things that you are wonderful with is you never put the kids down.
No.
And, you know, I think that's one of the most harmful things that, you know, we can possibly do to a child is put them down. I heard it a number of times while I was at the school yesterday, and he never talks down to the kids, and the kids never have to feel like, you know, like you're like the scary teacher in any way.
Yeah.
You know, you're like right at their level and showing them and giving them that.
Well, thank you for that, and it's good to hear that, because some of my critics are like, you need to teach this to graduate students, you need to teach this to college students. Little kids, what you're teaching them is
like
too
you're
hard
wasting
for
your
them.
time, and
Yeah,
it's
they're
not
like,
true.
and that like you're really forcing kids into these concepts that are not even PhD students aren't don't get this. So we teach about the golden mean. We teach about perfect forms. We teach about history. We teach about Socrates. We teach about philosophy, and I think kids, if anyone can understand it, it's kids.
Kids understand it.
Because they haven't been prejudiced with this, like, oh, you're,
No.
you know, on it. But it is rigorous. It is. I don't put them up, but I lift them up, and they're expected to be leaders, to act like leaders, and it's never a comfortable place. It's always a challenging place. So when they walk into the studio or their clubs, and the teachers are doing the same thing that I'm doing, they're challenging the students. They're getting them out of their comfort zone and into a challenge zone, but never to the point of panicking, never to the point of saying, well, I'm not good enough for this, or I'm not.
Yeah.
But it's don't get me wrong. I mean, we're pretty firm, you know.
But that's the beauty of it, because that's what life is. Every day. I mean, the most simple things, like me, I was just challenged in traffic. You know what I mean? And it's about you don't lose your mind. You keep it together. There's gonna be no road rage. I'm not gonna pull out my gun. You know, none of these things. You know, but it teaches at a very young age. I'm dealing with life.
Yes.
You know,
yes.
I have a challenge. I'm going to deal with it. I'm going to work around whatever situation comes my way, even if I have to improvise.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, and we teach them that if they come in feeling very comfortable, well, they quickly have to do that. So if someone comes in and starts looking at their phone, we call them out. We say, this isn't the place for that. This isn't the place for your laptop. You are here to live in the moment and to be real, not to be on the phone, not to be on your laptop, not to have your headphones on, but to listen to each other and to benefit from this moment, because this moment will never happen again.
No,
this
that's
moment
true.
will never repeat itself.
Yes.
So we teach them at a very young age, live in the moment. Get the most of the moment. And we teach them about perfection. There are perfect forms in math. That means that we can be perfect too. And maybe we have a slip up here, but we can pick it up. And if we have a good day, tomorrow can be a great day. And the day after that can be a perfect day. And if we line that up, weeks, months, years, that is the true art of living. To be able to live to the fullest and in the moment. I think a lot of times we are asked, well, what's your goal for 5 years down the line? What's your short-term goal? What's your long-term goal?
Yes.
And I was in New Mexico with an interviewer too as well, and he asked me, Victor, what's your short-term goal? And I'm like, to see the sunset. He's like, okay, so what's your long-term goal? To see the sunrise. You know, and it just threw him off, because I mean, you're in New Mexico. I want to see that sunset. It's beautiful sunsets, and I want to wake up early enough to see the sunrise, because it's a beautiful sunrise. And the same, we lose a lot of that. Only being outside of Chicago do we understand the power of a sunset and the power of sunrise. Because then we get here in the city, we get consumed with traffic, and we get consumed with traffic at night, traffic in the middle of the day, traffic in the morning, and we forget how beautiful it is walking into our beautiful city, there's no skyline like ours. I mean,
Right.
You've been to New York.
Yes, I've been to New York.
They don't
yes.
come very close to us. In
No.
LA,
No.
they have a beautiful ocean, but their skylines doesn't come close to us,
No.
on it. And that's the same for our food, for our friends, for our vibe. And I'm not saying that we're the best, but this neighborhood that we're in Avondale. It's one of the best neighborhoods in the world that just got beat out a lot of other neighborhoods. But the point is, no matter where you're at, that is the place that you should really savor, because you're never going to be there again. The day's never going to repeat itself. The moment's never going to repeat itself. So we want to teach kids, be in the moment.
Right.
Learn from one another. We can't repeat things.
No, that's true. So true. And not only that, I'm big on always telling my family, let's make memories.
Yes.
Because that's what we're going to have when we're older, if we're going to be around for a while, I mean.
Yes, and those memories, I think that's where the mural does play its part. That these kids can now walk past in their hallway and see this masterpiece that they contributed to.
Exactly.
And more than that, more and more in the murals that we're developing, they can see themselves. They see. They literally see their image in the mural. So we take a lot of photography, and we're not just putting portraits of people. They're protagonists. They're representing different things.
Right.
But rather than just painting a random person, we're using the image of their parents. We're using the image of their grandparents. You're going to be in our next mural. We're going to find a place where do we need an ELSA, and what can ELSA represent? Sometimes we'll change her clothes. Sometimes we'll change her hair. But you can point to, oh my gosh, that's me. That's who I am.
Right.
Some of the pictures that I sent you is like, they're very artistic and changed, and they look very magical.
And that actually happened to me. I was at Wheeling with one of the teachers, and she says, and I painted this part right here.
Yes.
And I think it's just amazing, where you can go back and say, those are precisely the memories, that, I did this piece, this part of it, that's like me. There's a little bit of me here,
Well, they did everything, They're being very humble, but they did everything. Everything that they do, every brushstroke, every conceptualization, every landscape, every sunrise that's in there, that's all them. That's all.
And it's beautiful. I mean, it's absolutely beautiful. If anybody wants to see the murals, does like the general public have an opportunity to see them or experience them?
Well, that's really there are some murals that you can see that were done collectively. The Pedroso Center in Northeastern Illinois University has the mural that's Corazón Sin Fronteras, and more than another 24 works that were done collectively with students. That was in partnership with Miguel Cambrai, who is an activist in prevention of violence, and El Maestro de Arte, Jaime Mendoza, and they were done in partnership, and their students that took part. So if you go to the Pedroso Center, which is a public university, and it's called the Angelina Pedroso Center for Diversity, that mural that's there, that Corazón Sin Fronteras, you can see, and you can see a small crowd, and they're all in there as well. So you can go to that. In general, in the university, going into the student union, there's a mural that's up on the stairways as well. That was done with the ELSA camp with Dr. Zuleima Perez and several other great people that with that. But you can just walk down and you can see that mural. And then there's several in high schools, in Little Village High School, the Infinity, Clemente High School. There's the one at Horizons Academy. Niles North has two. They're public schools mostly, so the public can come in. You just have to know and ask
when you can go.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
So there's security more and more, and I'm sure if you walk in and say, "Well, I'm here to look at the murals," they're gonna get a little, "Oh, well, who is this person?" But by legal right, those are public institutions, and the public has a right to go into them.
Exactly. Wow, time has just flown by, totally. So what would you like to say in closing?
Well,
what is your message
in
to our parents, to our students?
To the parents, I'd like to say is like, stop lowering your expectations of your kids. Don't send your kids to a school to get an education to be someone's employee. Tell them what you believe in, that they can lead this world. To the students, stop believing your parents when they say cualquier trabajito.
Yeah,
know that there's more in you, that there's novels in you, that there's art in you. And to all my friends, I want to say, come to Estrella Negra. I'm going to be there in a few minutes right after we leave. And also, I want to say that they're in Pilsen. I'm taking part in their Christmas walk display. And I will be at Apple Building, a historic building, working with a great partnership that I've had over the years with them. We're going to do a Christmas display there on their window.
Very nice.
It's a contest. Whoever gets the most votes will get $1,000 that's split between the organization and the artist. My portion, if we win, was going to go to the parents and the students of the project that I'm working on.
Right. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing all of this beautiful information, and also for being such a, important part of the community, because, like they say, teachers are really, truly like the masterminds.
Well, I'm an educator.
You're an educator.
I'm not quite a teacher. Teachers, they're on the front lines.
I know.
I come and go.
You're still you're still mentoring all these children. You're still teaching them about life and values and stuff like that. So, nonetheless, educator with teacher, you're like the whole enchilada. You know what I mean? It's like the whole package.
My proper respects to the teachers. My wife is a teacher, and they really deserve that title for themselves, because a teacher lives for those kids and is there from morning till
like you
evening.
Don't like you don't.
I get a break also. I get to be with you. I'm not like doing testing.
You get away here
or
there, right?
But I do teach at Daily College, and on December 6th we have a show there. December 6th from 4 to 6. You're welcome to stop by. A great group of kids at Collective Works. And
I went to Daily.
So that in that case, I am an art professor there.
Yes,
and
you're
I am
a professor
their
there too, right?
And so for that, yes, I do live for them on that.
I know you do. That's why it's like, you can't tell me that it's not that you don't do these things. I already know.
Yeah.
I've only been working with Victor since 2017 and trying to collaborate and just bringing all this to the public and giving these kids a voice. Because I really believe that children also deserve to have a voice, and to have media look at them, to have the radio station hear about the kids, and have, all the other areas probably be able to, see a reach, as well as the community.
Both of you, you and your producers, I want to thank you both, because I'm smart enough to know that how much mileage you get from shows like this, from being able to be on shows like this, to have a voice, to speak, and then it goes on YouTube and you can see it.
And then the videos are out there, and so it keeps.
You are a big part of this legacy. So we started out where kids were. In 2017, those kids sold popcorn and aguas frescas to raise money for that mural. Right. To have close to $250,000 support this new academy. That's great progress, and I couldn't have done it without the help of Alas de Amor and other people like you. But primarily, you've been very consistent.
Yes.
And I'm always being able to show clips of Alas de Amor when I've been here, and clips of the students that you've interviewed.
Yes.
So it's not just a pebble that creates ripples, it's a tidal wave. In this case, it's a tidal wave that where it got us from. And I'm very thankful and honest in saying that you've really helped me. Your show, you and your producers have really helped me to the point of where I'm at. So thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome. And this is even before I came over here.
Yes.
So it's a journey, but I believe really that it is a journey of love for the kids.
It is.
Because these kids really deserve, to have that time, that attention, to learn all these different things about life. And that's one of the things that I think that get missed, because no one really teaches us about life. But when you have these different programs that do teach us about life, then you know what? That is a huge, huge improvement for their lives.
Yes.
Because I didn't have any of that when I was a kid. No. When I was a kid, unfortunately, they cut out the music programs, the art classes. If we had an art class every so often, you know, you were lucky. I was happy to pull out my paintbrushes and be able to paint. But those are things that I think that we have evolved with.
Yes. Well, in our case, it has.
Right? It has
but
evolved.
Unfortunately, throughout the country, they're cutting art programs. They're cutting music programs. The bleeding continues.
Yes.
And it's not just the kids that suffer, but it's our future.
It is.
They're circumventing our future.
Well, our kids are our future, so that's why we need to keep at it for them, you know, and to keep moving forward and making sure that they get their wings of love.
Yes, thank you, Elsa.
Thank you so much, Victor, for being here with us today. We're going to be closing, and we want to thank everybody that listens to us, that is supportive of this whole process of all these projects. And we thank you for being here with us. On behalf of Dimensión Latina FM, thank you very much for tuning in and staying with us. Thank you. Until next time. Bye-bye.
Peace out.
En estas Navidades, que la paz y la armonía reinen en todos sus hogares y que crezca el amor en cada uno de nosotros. Dimensión Latina FM, solo música buena.